Right, welcome back. This is going to be a pricing video for you guys. I think we should normalise the sharing prices throughout the industry, whether it be electrics, plumbing, plastering, you name it. I think it's a good scope for people to work from, new to the industry, or customers watching for what they could expect. I don't want people watching this of other electricians, let's say, that charge top end, not dropping a name, Jordan, different area. Cambridge, completely different to Stafford where I'm from, very different demographic and wealthiness. You know, if you're watching this and you're London based and you watch this and go, oh no, Nick Bundy, he did the fuse board and he did a rewire price and it come out as this price and you're £4 over. It's like, yeah, it's different demographic. I'm Midlands. This is the sort of similar price of what we should be paying. I don't mind sharing prices of, you know, what it should be, sort of what profit is. I'm very transparent. I have been all the way across all the years of what we do. We've been to college, we've been on apprenticeship, you know, loads of stuff for Sparks. I've done a lot of time and effort in the industry to get where we are, especially running our own business. There's a lot of overheads. There's a lot of stuff that goes in behind the background, what customers do not see of how much stuff costs. So if you haven't already, drop a like on the video, because I took this comment to heart as of last one. It was a very informative video I always try and do with this sort of stuff to try and help people out, but at the same time, it was a boring video because it's just me sat here talking at my home. So we're going to be doing pop-ups on the video. It's going to take me a long time to edit, so I appreciate the like if you can. This one I went to see the other week. This is a YouTube job. It's an hour away from me. So first of all, we need to take traveling into account. I price any job per point, not per day. I think it works better for the customer. They know exactly what they're paying at the end of the day. Nothing's going to overrun, nothing's going to overshoot. They're not hit with hidden costs. That's how I work it. I saw this comment from the original video. We sort of go £400 per room on a rewire. That covers you with like a pendant, a switch, and a couple of double sockets around the edge, which is fine. But if the customer wants more, then it's going to cost more. So I run down how we do the quote, the breakdown of itemized sort of roughly what it's going to, you know, cost for that reason. So what I do, walk into a house, on the iPad I itemize per room, and then we go D/S double socket, DS USB, you know, that sort of stuff. So I write it out. There is a way to do this all on Tradeify. There really is. We'll get more to Tradeify later on. There's a way that you can set up prices and you put it in, it does it for you. I prefer doing it pen and paper. I've always preferred writing it out, figuring it out in my head as to do it. That's how I like doing it. There's different ways. This is a very, very simple way that anyone could do it. So if you have a price for a double socket, and it's what I have, £75 plus VAT, this includes materials, you write DS, and you do a little tally chart, and you count all the sockets that you fitted or priced up for, add that all together, you times it by 75, that gives you your price for your double sockets. That's how I do it here. So we've got double sockets, USB double sockets, single sockets, spurs, one gang switch with a pendant, two gang switch with a pendant, we've got spotlights, we've got smokes, we've got CO2, heat alarm, we've got an armoured feed to the garden, we've got it all here. So first of all, let's go off from what we have. There's no USB sockets here. This is all white plastic, and on top of it as well, the customer's requested that I run a neutral to every single switch. So we're probably just going to do the loop in, loop out method for each switch. It means just doing a bit of a wider chase, a bit of a deeper one, because there's more cables in the wall. Obviously we've got the feed in, and we'll feed out of the switch, and also the switch wire that goes across. So we've got neutral, we've got the feed there, honky-dory. Everything's in white plastic, so it keeps the cost down, and there's a minimal spots as well. So there's only 6 spots to go in this property, so brings the cost down a bit. What doesn't bring cost up is they've asked for a lot of Cat 6 cables everywhere. Obviously it's going to be a smart home. First of all, we've got a double socket. I charge £75 plus VAT. I'm going to stop saying plus VAT, it's going to wind me up. Single socket is £65. We've got a spur feed. So that's be an outside socket fuse spur or a spur on the kitchen side. We haven't got any of that. It's literally just a spur feed for the boiler. So I've priced that in at £85, which is probably undercutting myself because that's an RCBO, a 20 amp RCBO, a 16 amp RCBO, whatever you want to fit. The cable run into it, the pattress, the spur itself, 3 amp fuse, and obviously then we can just do the flex link into the fuse spur. So I put a 1G with 1 pen, which is a 1 gang, 1 pendant room. So I go into the property. So we've got outside lights to come. We've also got lights out in the shed, but what I've done myself is just added up every single room that's got a 1 gang switch with 1 pendant. We've tallied that up to here. There's 11 points here, and I do that at £100. My previous videos, I did it at 80. I bumped it up by £20 because I was severely underestimating how much work there is for what is a socket compared to a light. The sockets were coming out almost the same price as a light, which isn't the case because there's more work involved, there's more cable. 2-gang switch, £110. Once again, that's, I would say, underpriced. It's only £10 more than a 1-gang, but yet there's another full chase, another link of cable over, which is 3-core cable. 6mm cooker feed, twin and earth with an isolation switch, and that also leaves me down to a cooker wedge. That comes at 180. Spots we fit as standard, so the go-to is the JCC Fire Guard, which works out at £65. That includes the LED. It's a 6-watt or 7-watt LED that we fit. Customer's choice whether what they want, white, cool white, 6K, 4K, 3K, that sort of stuff, 3.8. Inline extractor kit. So price varies slightly whether or not it's going to be vented up through a tile that's already there. We're going to drill through a soffit, which is easy accessible, that's not asbestos, or we're going to core through a wall, sort of a gable end. Coring through a wall will take significantly longer. You're looking at 1 to 2 hours depending on the core bit you've got, whether or not it's over a footpath, like you need 2 people. It's a lot involved, but this is just going to be through the soffits. It's £200 with an inline kit and the labour. Next, we've got dual Cat6 cables going everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean everywhere. And if I get the job and we start filming it, you'll understand what I mean. So he's asked for dual Cat6 cables throughout, pricing at £100 for a dual. So that's 2 Cat6 cables to a dual outlet. There's 11 going in this property. Okay, which is a lot compared to what the rewires have done. Smoke alarms, hardwired smoke, hardwired heat, hardwired CO2, they're £90 each. I think, once again, I'm undervaluing it, but it is what it is. They're about £30 each-ish. I think heat's a little bit more. In here, we've got a 16mm armoured cable going in. I'm not sure whether to go. I priced in for the 16mm 3-core armoured, which is going to be continuity wire from the up. I put a picture on the screen. Up from the fuse board, across, continuity wire across to a brick outer building, which at some point the customer's going to want battery storage and solar, hence why it's a 16mm. We're going to be fitting I think a 6-way board in there, but that'll be fed off a MCB, 40 amp MCB my end, and then have the RCBOs in the board end. So if anything was to trip, it would be in there rather than one main trip back at the house. So that job I've sort of put as a whole. So outside double sockets. I will never fit an outside single socket. I really won't want to fit single sockets ever. Occasionally, there's 3 on this job, but it's for a reason. It's just pointless. You might as well pay the extra £3 and get a double socket. We priced them in at £90 each. Once again, I think I'm undervaluing it, but at the same time, there's a socket going on the inside. You can do a fuse spur if you want to. You don't have to. People do get confused. For a point of isolation, you don't need one. It's just user friendly. If there's a water in the outside socket, you can 2-pole isolate it, and it's cut off to get the power back on. There's metal clad double sockets going in the outer house. So we've got a bit of surface stuff, bit of conduit, flexi conduit, hopefully. I've priced them up at £35 each, and the only reason I priced up at that cheap is because we've got the armoured coming into the 6-way board in the outer house, and then it's just going to be literally conduit down, and then they're just going to be banked across or around the room. The room is not very big, and I'm happy with £35 each. Top of my head, a metal clad double socket's about £4. I could be completely wrong. I'll put it on screen up. Expert electrical price, I think it's around that. We've got a 6-foot LED strip light going in. So once again, that is just going to be a 1-gang switch with a pendant, and then we'll just put the extra cost of the light fit in itself, because it's no extra effort for me from fitting a pendant than it is to fit in an LED strip light. It's still 2 screws. So I don't charge the difference between fittings. I just put the cost of the fitting on top of the original 1 pen, 1 switch. I've added the continuity wire, same with the 2D. There's 2 2D fittings going in. We're going to do an emergency one in the downstairs toilet where the fuse board is. We'll put that on as well. And this, I'm pricing in to bond the chases. The customers specifically, not Pacifically, not the ocean, not, oh, what's that fish doing? I'm not doing that. They've actually asked me to bond everything to best of my ability, full bonds. But obviously, we've done in the previous videos like this, I'm going to do it to best of my ability and then push it all within the chase. So when they have it skimmed, the plasterers should like me and not hate me. We've got an up and down light PIR on the front that's priced in at £180. So you can add in the one gang, 1 pen at the beginning, which is £100, and then the £80 on top for the up and down light with the PIR, 2 LED GU10s. Depending on what fit I get, I've got some JCC ones around there which are really nice, like anthracite grey.
Last but not least, for board. So normally, if it was like a 14-way RCBO SPD board, it'd be around the 750 to 800 pound plus the VAT. But the customers asked for a double DIN board because they've got some smart relays or smart switches that they want me to fit in the bottom that will link through to some device. I'm not sure what yet. So we asked for a double DIN board, and then give us a few spare ways to have, because we're going to try and separate, like I did the previous rewire, as many circuits across many breakers as possible. So it's not just upstairs sockets. It's going to be 2 bedrooms on one, and then the office, which is the box room upstairs, which has got 12 double sockets going in. It will be on its own breaker. I put that down as 950. So that's that, the RCBOs, the blanks, all that sort of stuff all together. We've got to do some trunking up across from that under the stairs, going up into the landing. If I get the job, you'll see. So that's that. The customers added a few extra things on top, which is some HDMI chases, some coax chases, and some speaker cable chases. We've got 3 HDMIs, 3 coaxes, and 10 speaker cables. So I've added an additional £160 onto the quote as well to cover my time chasing all that extra stuff out, capping it and getting it nice. The kitchen has been rewired and redone in the past, I would say 5-6 years, from looking at the wiring and the age of all the new stuff that's in. So it's all been tiled and all the kitchen cupboards are on. So to minimize anything of damaging any of that, we're going to run a new ring feed or 2 radial feeds across, join the cables up in the ceiling, drop that down, test that to make that sure all that is hunky-dory, to minimize damage. Like I said, it's already an on-cost of buying a house. It's already got a new kitchen. Don't damage it, for Christ's sake. So I'll put an extra £150 on just to run the feeds across, that sort of stuff. So on this quote itself, to the main bulk of it, there is 35 double sockets. We've got 11 dual Cat6 cables. So we've got 22 Cat6 cables going in. The double sockets itself is £265. The Cat cables is £1,100. The fuse board in the shed is £500. The double DIN board is £950. Like, all of this is adding up to a big price. But hopefully, from everyone watching me, the customer has got me off YouTube because he's watched it all. And I should have said this at the beginning, they already know a rough price from this. And they already gave me their keys to the house and went, do it please. Because they've gone off my previous videos and pretty much priced it up themselves, and they know a ballpark figure other than traveling or maybe a few bits and bobs extra that they haven't thought about. Is they already know roughly what I'm going to say to them, which is great for me, great for them. They can trust me. I've already said, let me do your quote first, let's accept it, and let's get a 50% deposit, so we both know where we stand before any work commences whatsoever. But I do have their keys to their house, at my house, which is bizarre but nice at the same time, that I could be trusted. I like to say that we do a good job. I say we, like it's me and Adam now. I say I do a good job. And Adam's mum. But yeah, so all in all, price that we have is £9,381 plus the 20%, which brings it up to 11,000, which brings it up to 11,000. Which brings it up to, this isn't even on, by the way, I just thought it looked cool for the video, which brings it up to £11,257.20. I might knock the 20p off. I think that makes things look a bit neater. So yeah, really interested in price. I'm happy with it, but there's a hell of a lot of work to go in there. And I think, to be honest with you, because as and when this needs to be done or it's going to be started, Jack JRC, we spoke to him, he doesn't want to travel because it's 2 hours for him. Adam's on holiday, sunning himself, spending all his money on his girlfriend, his lovely little girlfriend. And his mum is not going either, so that's interesting. So yeah, I don't really have anyone to give me a hand with it, so I will be doing this all by myself. It needs to be done before, I think, the end of the first week in July. So I've got time by myself, I can go plod it, but if I do it as well, because there is so many sockets, instead of me chasing out nice and neat and doing it as I normally would, which each socket, let's say, is a decent brick that works well with me and the chaser, that works well with me and the SDS and the way we normally do it, I'm going to just use the chaser in, across, and then because I'm bonding it afterwards anyway, is I can make good of that, make sure it is. But like we said, the sockets that are going to be in the office, there's a few things that I want to try. I think the ones that are really close, I'm going to do bush and couplers, whether or not it be metal. I think I have to do plastic so the plastic doesn't react with it. all together to make them nice position to cross. We've got a few new materials that I want to use and try. I was hoping to try and do this in the Doncaster Earthshore cable, but I can't get hold of any at the moment, but we shall see. But I'm going to put this all in a document now on Tradeify, speak to the customer, send that across, make sure they're happy with everything. And like we say, with the Tradeify app, with the Tradeify thing, we've got a nice new logo now as well. You've seen that? Oh, fancy. I've got the reassurance now from sending this through Tradeify, the customers accepted it. We're bound contractually, I would say. So if the customer at some point, not this customer, any customer decided they don't want to pay, they don't want to go through with it, even though you complete the works and they've accepted it, I have this to take them to court, small claims court, whatever, to try and claim as much money back as I can. From in the past of doing stuff pen and paper or over a text, it just isn't enough. I've got the security now of this that I'm going to be covered as long as I do what I said I would do. That there shouldn't be a problem at the end of it, and if there is, I'm covered with this. Currently at Tradeify, we've got 30% off for the first 3 months, or there's a 14-day free trial, so go and check it out. I'm going to have a chat with the customer now, make sure we've got everything pen and paper, and hopefully it gets accepted. If not got the keys, I'll go and squat for a little bit until they go, all right then, Nick, you can do it. So yeah, hope this has been some help. I hope the pop-ups have been fairly interesting. Hopefully the video's not been too boring and someone's learned something. Any comments or questions, drop it below. If I can't answer it, other people will answer it and we can get through it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you drop a like and I'll see you next one. Love you, bye.